From the day I was born, my mother raised me with my grandparents. My mother was only young when I was born, so my grandparents became my parents, and my mother was more like a big sister. My grandmother was very loving and caring. My grandfather was my hero and treated me as if I was his own child. He took me everywhere, told me stories about when he was a young soldier. I used to sit for hours listening to his stories about the war, and when he was a little boy, I would sit and imagine I was a soldier with my granddad, and we would go on adventures, win battles, and be heroes. All this came to an end just short of my 10th birthday. I remember the date well, March 9th. We had an unusually long winter with snow still causing havoc. Earlier that evening, my grandfather was taken ill. When the ambulance arrived, I was standing in my bedroom window watching him being transferred into the ambulance, desperately hoping he would look up and see me in the window. I kept saying to myself, "He's a hero, a superhero. He will be okay," but I still found it difficult to hold back my tears. My grandmother came into my room and said in her normal, loving voice, "Grandad will be okay, he will be home tomorrow, you can have the day off school." I went to bed with an empty heart, hoping my granddad would come home. All night I would wake up and walk towards my grandmother's room, peeking inside and only seeing her. Finally, I would manage to fall asleep. When the morning arrived, I sat up in my bed hoping my granddad had come home during the night. I quickly ran downstairs where my mother, aunt and grandmother was all there looking rather concerned. My mother instructed me to go and have a bath as I did every morning. I headed upstairs, ran my bath and climbed in. As I was washing my hair, I noticed a figure standing at the end of the hallway. It was my granddad. I was overjoyed he was home. He looked at me and smiled, and then turned around and walked into his bedroom. I quickly go out of my bath and got dressed. Excited, I ran into his bedroom. It was empty. He wasn't there or anywhere. Rather puzzled, I walked downstairs. As I got halfway down, the telephone rang. The phone call seemed to last minutes, but in reality it was a matter of seconds. I walked into the room. Straight away I could sense the sadness and emptiness. My family was in a group hug. My mother was crying. Curiously I asked, "What's wrong?" My grandmother lifted her head, tears filling her eyes. "Granddad's just died." Shocked and confused, I said, "No, that's impossible. I've just seen him upstairs." I ran back upstairs, back into his bedroom. It was empty. I ran into my room and into the spare room. They were all empty. My grandmother was right, he had died. My hero was gone. Years later, I came to the conclusion he had returned to say goodbye, letting me know he was okay. Do the dead return just one last time before they go on to the next journey? But one thing I'm certain of. My granddad came to me to say goodbye.